And we're back. We apologize for the technical difficulties, folks, but this does happen when we're launching a brand new ship into the vast ocean that is live streaming. Okay, so we were speaking about the 4-3-3 formation that Tata came out with, not his usual three back line.
No. Um, I've spoken to you before about my formation, my idea for this team, where we're best at. We are not a three-back team, unfortunately. We do not have the versatile center backs to do so. You need tall, fast, aggressive center backs, and we can't play a Noah Allen in that role like we have in the preseason. It doesn't work. He is a natural wing back, a natural left back. And saying that with the 3-5-2, you do not have the um, the creativity in the midfield to go forward. You're asking Messi to drop in under Suarez and pick up the ball from either Busquets, a Jean Mota, a David Ruiz, a Julian Gressel, a Gomez. Because right now we have Kramashi, who is out for 2 to 3 months recovering from sports hernia surgery, and Farias, who's out for the season with a torn
Mhm.
ACL. So to play a 3-5-2, that's not that doesn't fit the personnel of this team. Our personnel fits into a 4-3-3 like we saw yesterday and like we had a lot of times with Phil Neville prior to the Messi era and the Tata era, and a 4-2-3-1 as a double pivot with a Busquets and a Mota, a Busquets and a Ruiz, a Gomez, a Bright, to give Busquets more of that freedom to unlock the opposing team midfield, to find Messi, to find those pockets of, space to let runners go in behind. You have a Gressel and Taylor playing out wide. They both can, attack from inside out, outside in. They have the ability to take on defenders and stuff like that. And that allows also our wing backs, our outside backs, Alba and Yedlin, to attack. And it gives the option of Taylor and Gressel to drop back, which they had before. So the five back, I do not see working for us.
What did you see yesterday on the back four from the new acquisition from Pumas yesterday that you liked against Newell's Old Boys?
Nicolas Freire, he was good on the ball. He was direct with his tackles. He was vocal in the back. He was instructing where to be, um, playing passes, not playing the dumb pass, not playing the long ball the entire time, playing it too bright, to play forward to Messi, to play forward to Gomez, to play to Gressel. I saw a very well-rounded, smart center back in him. He's not going to go out and, outpace you. He's not going to go out and outmuscle you, but he has a mind to that. He has ball knowledge, as they like to say in the footballing world. He has the ball knowledge, and
Would you say
pairing
he's
that with
crafty?
Crafty, he is tactically sound, as from what I saw from his first game yesterday. Tactically sound. He wasn't. He did not get caught out of position in that first half. He was very vocal with playing very well with Avilas, giving Avilas an opening to play him, to play forward, to play Alba, to switch the play. So they both worked well together. And Avilas, put in some tackles that were impressive. He likes a good slide tackle here and there. So him limiting his yellow cards, because he's aggressive. But if he can control that, to limit the yellow cards, to limit his time on the field, to not miss games and stuff like that, that center back pairing can be very well, can do very good things for us at
You
a
think the veteran?
position that we are thin.
Do you think the veteran presence next to Aviles is going to benefit him?
I do, I do. Even with if it's Sergey next to Avilas, I think that veteran presence to calm him down, to give a sense of calming to the back line, that there's another veteran back there, because you have three veterans in Yedlin, Freire, who is 29 years old, Sergey, who's played in abroad in Europe in Champions League, and Jordi Alba, who has a resume that we all know about. So that with Calendar back there, you have a back line that can improve, but it is very thin. So those guys have to be very, very sharp.
You've mentioned him a couple of times already. Yannick Bright. What did you see in the youngster against the Argentine team that gives you a glimmer of star in him?
Composure was the first thing that stood out to me. His composure on the ball, off the ball, finding the pockets between the defenders to outlet for Calendar, for Freire, for Aviles to find him so we can play forward. We don't want to play backwards. I understand that a lot of times we're gonna dominate possession solely because teams do not want to get countered by Messi, countered by Busquets. So for us to have possession in the midfield starts with the six, whether it's the lone six in a 4-3-3, or it's a double pivot in a 4-3-3, or if it's a double pivot in a 4-2-3-1. Yannick Bright is going to be instrumental to this team solely because we cannot ask Busquets to cover an entire midfield by himself anymore. He is not the young pry center mid CDM that he was at Barca with the Xavi, Iniesta, Messi of those days. He's older, just like a lot of the veterans on this team that we brought Suarez, Messi, and Alba, those guys. So having the rotation with him in and out of games to give him rest, to keep him healthy, to keep him fresh for the season, because the season's going to be long. We have a lot of games, tournament games, league games, all that stuff. So to keep the rotation going, with a David Ruiz who started to come on last year, with a Diego Gomez who has just played very well for Paraguay and qualifying them for the Olympics. To bring in Yannick Bright now as your MLS Super Draft pick into the team and how he played yesterday gives a lot of hope to Tata. I would sense to be able to put him in there. He's going to play clean. You want him to play mistake free, and that's asking a lot of a young player. So to have him settled in there, controlled, composed, playing the right balls, putting in tackles, being being a rock to say in that midfield in front of the back line was very inspiring to see.
Given what you saw yesterday, what would be uh, it's the first time we saw him on the pitch with the team. What would be your expectation? What would be a success in terms of Yannick meshing with the team like he did yesterday against NOB?
A success for Yannick would be I would for him personally, for his succession, for him personally as a success, I would say him getting that senior level contract would be that success for him. He can earn it. I believe he will. He's that type of player. For him to get rotational gameplay every other game, turning those tournament games and stuff like that, just experience wise, playing alongside the Busquets, playing alongside the Messi, the Suarez, but Busquets in particular because Busquets was one of the best sixes in the world. So for Yannick to just learn under him and be at practice and just watch what he does and him translating that into games that Busquets doesn't play, that's a big plus for Inter Miami going forward. Because we know we were susceptible to the counterattacks last year, getting caught out of position.
Yes.
So having a six, a true six in that position, while we let other center mid, it's not saying that Busquets can't track back. It's asking him to do it all the time. So having a young, fresh Yannick Bright in that rotation with Gomez, who's a ball-winning center mid, that's where we are at our best, and Yannick will thrive in that position.
What do you think about now the the transition from Busquets and that back line to the attacking third? We brought in Suarez. We have Messi. We have Gressel, who's a new addition. We have Gomez. We have Taylor. As you mentioned, Kremaski's out with the sports hernia. What do you think would be the ideal pairing in terms of that, uh, you know,
Double
front
pivot
third?
to say, oh, front third.
Yeah, the with the final third, what would you say is you have Messi
Okay,
and Suarez.
yeah,
Who would you pair? I know that Gressel
yeah,
has a big role, but who do you
yeah.
think would be the gives us the best opportunity to create chances in terms of the final third?
So I'll give you two options here with the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1. 2-3-1. So the 4-3-3, I would easily, hands down, on the left-hand side is Robert Taylor. Yesterday and in the Leagues Cup last year, he proved to be one of our best players, taking on defenders, finding the final ball, creating chances. He assisted on our goal yesterday off a set piece, off a corner. He's going to be very, very good for us. He needs to start left wing, attacking the right back, cutting in on his right foot, having a shot, playing one on one, playing that 1-2 with Messi, playing that 1-2 with Suarez, getting in. That's his game. I understand that he can be a great super sub, but why not just start him? He's one of our younger guys. Let him go. Let him attack at the start of the game. So Suarez in the middle to play off of Taylor on the left, and then on the right I would have Messi on 4-3-3,
Okay.
and then
The
let
game
Messi tuck in.
the game was very congested, very tight at the
Yep.
beginning
Hmm.
last night.
Yep.
Things opened up towards the end of the first half, and then it was a little bit freer game in the second half. What adjustment do you think Inter Miami made that almost unlocked a very congested and tight game?
Well, the adjustment was, Messi picking up the ball a little bit deeper, making solo runs he does very well. Finding that overlapping run of Yedlin, finding that overlapping run, or that wide run of David Ruiz, who can cut it back. But ultimately, like I just said, was the addition of Robert Taylor as a sub unlocked the game for me. He came in and provided a something that Diego Gomez right now, or is not suited to provide, is that one-on-one attacking presence to take guys on. You make a move and you get by him. You play that final ball. You play a ball 1-2 ball. You get him behind. So that's where I think the game opened up when Robert Taylor came on.
Okay. What kind of what kind of game yesterday did you see in Julian Gressel against NOB that is going to allow his integration into this team? What does Gressel bring to Inter Miami that we saw a little bit yesterday, and moving forward?
For starters, he brings that veteran mentality, that champion winner. He was an MLS Cup champion last year with Columbus. He's been around the block with an Atlanta United when Atlanta United was at their top, back with Tata Martino, Miguel Almiron, Joseph Martinez, and all those players at Atlanta. He brings a flexibility, a versatility to the squad in position where you can play him in personnel. And for me, he is suited as a wide player, whether it's a wing back. If we deployed the five back, you can play him as a right wing back. He can play at the right mid position to give Yedlin that option to, fancy a run up, cross it in, he can drop back, defend. He can create chances in that center mid position. He's not gonna go out there and skill every guy solo run. All these defenders, but he's gonna find those pockets of space, find the Messi, find the Busquets, play that ball that leads into a final ball, that ball that leads into a 1-2. He's gonna track back. He's gonna help defend, and he's gonna be a solid player for Inter Miami this season.
What do you think about the Messi performance? I know that he missed on a few key opportunities. He was close, but couldn't quite put the ball in the net. What did you think of his performance, especially against his old childhood team?
Well,
And what was it that you saw in his performance yesterday?
Messi is just getting his legs going again, to say the least. He's when those games when that whistle blows on Wednesday for that Real side, he's ready to go. He he's getting those balls in the midfield, picking out those runners over the top, picking out Alba over the top, playing those 1-2 with the midfielder, get it back, played into Suarez. They're playing off each other. He's taking the ball on solo runs, you know, attacking the defenders, making them guess one way, go another way, play a ball to Yellen, play it back. He's getting the rhythm back because those games in the preseason tour, No, let him play at home, against the Newell's old boys, nostalgia for him and stuff like that. But it was a game and a game for him, just feeling it out again, get that rhythm back, getting ready for the season to start.
Any
It was it.
concern about Busquets in terms of um, like you said, availability? I know we didn't see him against this game, but what what do you see in terms of hit Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and Alba that would give you confidence in terms of the outlook going forward?
You highlighted it. You said it. Availability. You have to be available for games. We need to play it smart. Like I said, we're playing a lot of games this year. CONCACAF Champions League, MLS League, and then the Leagues Cup. We need to have fresh legs for those important games. Granted, last year, after Messi came, we made a beeline in that Leagues Cup. We put all our eggs in that basket, I felt. We had already been 22 points down in the league when it stopped, with like 12 games left, I believe.
Okay,
So, and then you saw the what happened after was Messi picked up a knock, Alba picked up a
right.
knock, players started going down. For this season, we need to keep a like that's why I said you can't play a Noah Allen at center back when Jordi Alba can pick up a knock like this or needs a day off. You need to deploy him at left back and have a regular center back, whether it's Sailor come in, whether it's Christoph come in, and stuff like and guys like that. And with Suarez, he's 39 years old, and we know about his knees. We know how bad they are. Leo Campana needs to stay fit in order
And
for us
Suarez
to.
Suarez looked all of 39
He d- he
during the tour
he does.
and
Look,
last night.
he you can see it when he runs. Is that saying that he's going to struggle to score goals? By all means, no. He needs to stay as fit as possible, and Tata needs to rest him as much as possible and give Leo the green light to go. Because we've seen it before. When Campana is healthy, he is a very good goal scorer. He can put his back to goal. He can play as a false nine. He can hold up play like any other, and he can finish like any other. We've seen it. I saw it live against Orlando City at home when he chipped the keeper from 35, 40 yards out to send us to the playoffs. He did it to Brad Guzan. He flicked it twice in the box and put it right by him. He can finish, but again, health. He needs to stay fit.
With that concern, I know that is no longer the case with Jordi Alba. It's no longer the case with Sergio Busquets. Is there any concern with Messi's commitments during the MLS season? You mentioned all the tournaments, all the games we're going to play. Any concern with his commitments to Argentina, him going back and the gruel, the grind of traveling, playing in the CONMEBOL, in just that in combination with his commitments to MLS, do you see a wear and tear issue in terms of being able to finish a season?
It would be blind of me to say no, but there is a concern because he is not the young, spry Messi of years past. It's age. It all comes with age. Father Time is undefeated. So him having to play, like you just said, CONMEBOL, Copa America is this summer. You have the Leagues Cup, like we mentioned, the CONCACAF Champions League, and then you have the MLS. I think for Inter Miami, and we'll touch up on this more on Tuesday prior to the game on Wednesday. Inter Miami, you need to make the MLS playoffs and make a run at the MLS Cup. That's what you're in. That's the league you play in. You've won a Leagues Cup already. You got that first trophy. Now win your league trophy. Win the domestic trophy. That's 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 what Mas and Beckham have preached, the togetherness, which is the slogan for this year, that freedom to dream, that we're going to put the team out there that's going to win this, win me the MLS Cup, or at least show me that we're there. Because with this team, you need to make the playoffs. And with
Supporter shield,
Messi,
does it mean anything to you?
the supporter shield, I, wa- I, I want to see us make that deep playoff run, man. That's what I want because we've made it twice. That wild card in
We got
with
bounced out
Diego
by
with
Nashville.
the with Diego Alonso his first year, and then Phil Neville, we got bounced out by New York City up there,
Right.
which, unfortunately, we did make the playoffs, but
We got boat raced in New York, I think.
let me tell you, that own goal, I mean, that back line of Mabika and Damian Lowe had played so well leading up to that game. I was very confident in going into that game. I cannot lie. And then,
Okay.
the experience of New York City FC showed.
Any con- any concern with results during this world tour? We weren't able to get a result against anybody except the Hong Kong 11. And even last night, it ended up in a draw. We gave up a late goal. What's any concern in terms of results?
The concern for me doesn't side with the results, to say the least, of the Saudi tour and whatever. Yesterday, maybe because, we brought in some guys, Ryan Saylor came in. When we took Bright off, Yannick Bright came off, picked up a slight knock, I believe, came off, lost in Sunderland came in, stitched up Ryan Saylor on a back pass, and Ryan Saylor had no chance. They kind of dribbled it in and shot. Nothing Callender can do there. That's the thing. When we bring those guys in to close a game or to lock a game down, to say the least, we have to be clinical. And that's where, the Saudi league games didn't do really much for me because we're playing Al Hilal, who's 17-0 in the Saudi league with a plus 50 goal differential. What is that gonna do for us? Yes, I know we came back 3-0 in the first 20 minutes. We brought it
Right.
back to 3-3 and then outscored. But going down 3-0 in the first 25 minutes is not good.
No, it was a laughable first 20 minutes.
And then I would and then the Al Nasser game was just a joke. You had Laporte shooting from 55 yards down on a free kick, and he cut Callender off his line. Granted, Callender wasn't very good in those 2 games. He had a poor showing in those 2 Saudi games. He was better, a lot better yesterday, back to the Callender that we know. The
He
one thing
doesn't
that he
give you
just needs
concern moving forward.
that he doesn't what?
He doesn't give
Concerns?
you any concern moving forward.
The one concern is playing with his feet. Does he have the confidence and does he have the ability to play confidently with his feet? I'm not saying, off a goal kick to find the guy. I'm saying off a pass back, settle the ball with time. If the defender's closing in on you, you make a quick pass. You don't take your time, quick pass. Find the right pass. Most of the time, that right pass might be in the middle where Yannick Bright is sitting or Busquets is sitting. That might be your safest option. If not, you go out to the wings and you let those guys handle it. Worst thing, you blast it. But don't try to get cute with it like we've seen sometimes. And, he's gotten better with it, but it needs to be more this year, especially with the way we play.
With the lack of depth, we spoke about the lack of depth at the in the back line,
Yeah.
and you've expressed quality depth um, within the midfield.
Hmm.
When it comes to Busquets not being able to play 90, Jordy still does at times, but when our veterans, as the season goes on, lose the ability to play 90, do you have any concern with subs coming in to spell some of these guys and, you know, the starting 11 having a 1-2 goal lead and these subs kind of coughing it up of sorts?
There is some level of concern specifically with that back line. Say we have let's say hypothetically, one guy picks up a knock and we have to insert a Noah Allen, who is a much smaller defender, into that center back position. And there's a set piece, there's a corner, there's one not in, let's say, the 70th, 75th minute. We have a 2-1 lead. We're trying to hold on, right? Last year we were last in defending those corners and those set pieces. Now with that depth that we have at that back line, to have a smaller guy come in and try to do that, that's where my concern lies with the back line depth. I'll be honest, trying to hold on to a lead, that's where we need to really figure it out. And those guys that do come in with the subs, like you said, or if it's a Busquets that goes out, or if it's a Kristoff that goes out, because he's older. He's older already. With an Alba, like you said, can go full 90, but at times he needs a sub. Who's gonna be that guy back there? What are we gonna throw in a is David Ruiz gonna have to play emergency center back minutes at times as a in a five back maybe? I could see something like that eventually happening if it needs to be, but I hope it doesn't. But that's where my concern would lie, in that back line depth, like you mentioned.
You spoke about Gressel's versatility.
Yeah.
Should alarm bells go off if we see Gressel play in the back line?
I I would say this is what I would think would happen, because Tata has already experimented with Yedlin as a right center back and a three back. I would say Russell goes into the right back position. Yedlin drops in as a center back pairing, or Yedlin drops in as a right center back and a five back, and we play a true five back with no attacking wing backs and play across with two DMs in front of them. That's where that versatility with Russell comes into play, that he can play that outside back and provide defense and outlet passes and stuff like that.
Okay. So to wrap things up, what was it that just kind of a brief recap as to what you liked in terms of what you saw versus NOB and some concerns moving forward?
Okay. I did like the 4-3-3. We were very balanced. We looked the best, I would say, in that 4-3-3 that we have in the three back and the five back, whatever you want to call it. But that 4-3-3, I think, is going to be very instrumental to how we play. We need to play with more possession than the other teams, because we know that's the big thing with that. That you play the possession game, you find Messi, Messi does the rest. But that double pivot, I think, it could be a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, but that 4-3-3, if we deploy it on Wednesday and we use that double pivot with a center mid in front of them, a box to box guy, if it's Gomez, if it's maybe a Messi as a center attacking mid and Grasso out wide. But that formation of a 4-3-3 gives us a lot of balance. Our back line was stout in the first half. We were good. It was the best that we saw them in the preseason. To be fair, it was the best I saw Toto. Nicolas Freire played very well for me. I liked what I saw from him. Very promising. And then Calendar was good. He made good. Made a one-on-one save, parried it away. Unfortunately, that goal at the end. Nothing you can do about that. But that was a good defensive performance from us in the first half. Um, I don't think that Diego Gomez is going to be playing left wing as much as Data would like. Unfortunately, we saw it last year in a Leagues Cup game where he started on the left. Kramowski started as a left center mid, and it was just Gomez couldn't find the right spaces. Gomez was tucking in too much. Gomez wasn't making those runs past the defenders and stuff like that. So Gomez's position is a center mid. And my concern is that Tata is going to try to experiment and this and that. He needs to play it simple. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid, like we say here.
Is
Keep it
is there
simple.
space for Diego Gomez's skill set with Messi being that almost that cam that orchestrator in the final third
For sure. I believe, yeah, I believe Gomez can play as a ball winning center mid, box to box guy, wins the ball.
in front of the
T-
double pivot? You mean?
yeah, yes, yes.
Okay.
He can play as a ball winning center mid there. Yeah, of course. Um, and if we do that lone six instead of a double pivot in the 4-3-3, and it's Bright to say the least, or if it's Diego Gomez who's playing that single six position, I have confidence in him. Right now he has the most confidence on the team. He just captained Paraguay to World Cup qualifiers in CONMEBOL, scoring 5 goals and tournament MVP. He just needs to translate that to the MLS. He needs more work in the final third, finishing chances, being clinical and stuff like that. But he is what we call he has that bulldog mentality. He goes after the ball. He'll put in a tackle. He's not afraid to go win an aerial duel and stuff like that. So him as a center mid in a 4-3-3, like I've said, like we started yesterday, is that or like we started yesterday, having him on in a center mid position and Gressel out wide suits the team better than Gressel as a center mid and Gomez out wide.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Mark's thoughts on Inter Miami with their match against Newell's Old Boys, Messi's childhood team. This was a soft launch for our new show. It's called False Nine, as you've seen. Um, it will be a show on Thursdays to recap if there was a Wednesday game, to recap that, or to preview the games on Saturdays. I know that the Wednesday games don't start till later in the season, but we just want to make sure that we can provide everyone with as much coverage as possible. The first big show will be a season preview, roster preview on Tuesday. Mark will go ahead and preview both all the moves Inter Miami did, how they look to set up, and the game against Real Salt Lake. If you're new to the show, hit the subscribe, smash that like button. You'll get notifications as to when we go live. It's the debut show, the first show here on the Kendall Sports Network. We plan on bringing you guys a lot of Miami centric shows, a lot of Miami, a lot of Miami coverage. Mark is our resident Inter Miami Heron expert, but that doesn't mean that he's just confined and boxed into soccer. I'm sure you'll see him at some point on our other shows to discuss various different topics. We hope to see you guys soon, and we thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys, and have a great rest of your Friday. Peace, guys.